So inside of organizations, I can create a customer, or I could view customers that I already have created. So if I want to onboard a new customer, I need to select the cloud. So out of the box, you'll be connected and enabled with the Neverfail cloud. This happens to be my S-Cloud instance. And then I need to select a domain. So I already have a domain here. If I wanted to create a new one, I could. What this means is that we're building the entire network infrastructure on the back end. It's really full network automation that allows you to do DHCP, DNS, and Active Directory services, but you don't need to know about any of that because we stand it up entirely autonomously for you. So I've got the domain here. Now I need to name my customer. So this could be a new customer, for example, set a UPN domain. This has to be unique for each customer. So this could be customer.com, for example, and then set a password. Once that's been done, a workflow will kick off that will configure that customer. And what you end up with is an organization, which is really how you manage all of your users, and a workspace, which I'm going to go through in a minute, which is where you manage your infrastructure. So let's look into the organizations here. When I go into my Workspaces organization, and this is where I was launching applications a minute ago when I was showing you the end user experience, I could see the most frequently used applications, how many sessions have been opened. It looks like there's a lot of Google Chromes that get launched, for example, here. A lot of time spent with Explorer open. You could just get basic statistics. You could also get statistics on your active user counts per calendar month. So the one of the key features, though, is that I'm able to do my full user management here. I want to create a new user, it's pretty simple. When I do this and fill out their name, their email, and their phone number, they're going to get an email that's going to help them to onboard. So no further interactions necessary to activate their account. And once they've been activated, you'll notice that their account has a green, account would be in green as opposed to this user doesn't have an active account. They still need to activate it, but this user doesn't have any active sessions. So we could click in here and we could get more detail about this user. If we look on the left in actions, I can edit their information, reset their password. I can resend their welcome email, deactivate them, or delete them. And in the center, if they had an active session, there would be 3 more options where I could end their session. I can message them. So for instance, hey, I just added a new application, log back in. Or I could shatter their session, which is kind of like a remote viewing capability to support their apps. Since I don't have an active session, those aren't available in this demo. If I scroll down, I could see what they've done. So this is a real differentiator for Workspaces, is you can see exactly who's done what, when, and where. Now, if you remember, I logged in. This is when I logged into the portal, and then I launched Google Chrome, and I can see exactly where that came from and who launched it. We track everything by session ID. So if you choose to export these logs, you can track track sessions end to end through that ID. Then I can see we launched Internet Explorer, Word, closed it out, logged out. So I could tell everything that this user's done. Scrolling down, I can modify their user groups. So groups are how you deploy applications. I'm going to show you how that works in a minute, but basically every user is part of a group and an application deploys to that group. So it's real important to make sure that users are part of the appropriate groups. In this case, I have this user part of several groups. I can remove their group membership directly from their user management page as well. I could view their RDP policy. So there might be different policies per group. We'll talk about that more in a second, but this is kind of the roll up of their total permission set. And I can modify their user preferences. So in this case, I have this user set for high performance, meaning that in high latency situations, this will be the most performance scenario. But I can also set a high quality setting, or I can allow their clients just to auto detect. We also have multi-monitor support, so I can enable or disable that for this user. Now, a bit of glimpse into our roadmap. These user preferences will be available in an upcoming release for end users to modify themselves, so giving end users a little bit more control over their sessions. And another roll-up of this application app usage history specific to this user is at the bottom. So let's go over to groups. In groups, I can create new groups. It's pretty easy. You just need to name the group, and then the group appears here, and then you can manage the group. So for instance, in my HR group, I have a couple of different members. I can remove members if I choose, or I can add members, should I choose to do that, by selecting any other users here. I can also modify the policy for this group. So maybe for HR, I want them to allow them to print, and I want to allow them to see their local drives. And this will modify that RDP policy for just this group and any members of this group. So that kind of wraps up organizations.